Are you recording? Yeah. Oh, well, we'll go ahead and start the show. This is the Political Truth Network.
It's okay. I like this show. We are so gonna party.
Skeptics rise to speak their lies. Truth is marching on. Truth is marching on.
I am your host, Dave August. I'm joined by Chris Manning, as every week you join us for the best in political talk radio. Let's see, Chris, where do you want to start today? We've got a lot to talk about. We'll start out with this. Paul Harvey died Saturday. He was the most listened to talk radio man in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this isn't just in America. This is the whole world, and here's some of Paul Harvey's bits talking about a soldier that General Petraeus when he talked to Chelsea Clinton.
And for what it's worth, if this did not come from Jay Leno, it still may. The Clinton daughter, Chelsea Clinton, as a journalist, listened to General Petraeus briefing to Congress, at which he said he was afraid to put a specific date on troop withdrawal. Chelsea is said to have said afterward, "General, all of those ribbons on your chest suggest that you would not be afraid of anything." To which the general replied, "On the contrary, Miss Clinton, I am afraid of three things. I am afraid of Osama, and I am afraid of Obama, and Miss Clinton, I am afraid of your mama." Paul Harvey. Good day.
Paul Harvey, he was 90 years old, the legendary radio host whose career sharing the rest of the story with listeners spanned more than 70 years. He died according to ABC Radio. Harvey died at a hospital in Phoenix, Arizona, where he kept a winter home. And Lewis Adams, a spokeswoman for the network, said he was surrounded by family members when he died. Adams said, known for his deliberate delivery and pregnant pauses, Harvey's broadcasts were heard on more than 1,200 radio stations, 400 armed forces networks, and his commentaries appeared in 300 newspapers, according to his website. So we have really lost a true radio legend. Harvey began his radio career in 1933 at KVOO AM in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So we've really lost a radio legend. I have another sound bit of Paul Harvey. It was one of the rest of the stories, and we'll play a little bit of it as soon as it loads. Hold on one second. Why aren't you loading? Play! There we go.
The war was over. Soldiers were going home. These were Americans. They were the last to be evacuated, more than 2,400 POWs, on a troop vessel called the Sultana. It's now 2 o'clock in the morning. The voyage is underway, and there was an explosion. Number 3 boiler had blown, sending a blast of metal fragments through the vessel's midsection. Many soldiers and crew were killed instantly. They were the lucky ones. A raging fire swept the Sultana. Her captain, jolted awake, rushed on deck. He was greeted by steam and smoke-licking flames. Many of the bodies tossed high in the air by the explosion were even then raining down on the deck in pieces amidst the debris. Troops able to jump the rail and swim into the distant darkness had done so. Anything that floated was swarmed by the fleeing until it and those clinging to it went down. And meanwhile, strong winds swept toward the Sultana's stern. The night air was alive with the cries of the burning and the drowning. And finally, after what seemed forever, 263-foot, 1,720-ton vessel had extinguished its own hell, had slipped beneath the black waters. What I've just related was foreseeable. In fact, it was foreseen. For an officer on board had actually received a report from his own clerk that the Sultana was overaged, overcrowded, probably would never reach port. And the report was correct in all counts. The vessel was a freighter to begin with, had never been meant to carry more than 376. Yet there may have been 2,500 troops aboard that terrible April morning, and 100 civilians, and a crew of 80. The Sultana was long overdue for an inspection and a refit, anything but shipshape. But the war was over, and with the relief came carelessness, and then
That's, wait. that's one of Paul Harvey's the rest of the story on the Sultana disaster. Again, we've lost a true radio legend. Let's go to this. In Washington, Coach Marcus Broden used to bow his head and drop to one knee when his football team prayed, but the Supreme Court on Monday ended the practice when it refused to hear the high school coach's appeal of a school district ban on employees joining a student-led prayer. Judge D. Michael Fisher, writing for the Philadelphia Appeals Court, said that Broden's past action of leading the prayers made his head bowing seem inappropriate. A reasonable observer would conclude that he is continuing to endorse religion when he bows his head during the pre-meal grace, takes a knee with his team in the locker room when they pray. With teachers and students, individual expressions are being limited. There is a concept out there, and religion doesn't belong in schools, says Whitehead, whose group acted as a co-counsel for Borden. So the government gets their hand in another thing. Again, they can't keep their hands out of our business, right? Yeah.
That's about it.
They are now saying that you can't pray with your football team before a game. You can't bow on your knee in a school and pray with your football team. You can't pray in public if you're an employee of the government.
Hey, Brother Kenny's on.
Yeah. That's nutso. I don't think government has any right to tell anybody what they can and can't do when it comes to prayer in schools. Or in, this is a high school. So they're telling this high school coach that he can't do what he wants with his kids, with his football team. He can't lead them in prayer. He can't tell them, let's pray. And it was a student-led prayer, so apparently the students agreed with it. This wasn't something that the students said, no, we don't want. This was something students were agreeing with. They were taking part in. And government just said, no, you can't do that. That is extremely unconstitutional. Me and Chris were talking before the show about how they'll play separation of church and state here, and how they'll say, well, that's not right, because you have to separate the church from the state. This doesn't have anything to do with the church.
Yeah.
This isn't the church. This is a one man and his football team who feel like praying before a football game because they want guidance, because they're probably praying for safety. It's football. And government says, no, you can't do that anymore because we don't want you to. Completely unconstitutional.
Nate, why don't you pull up the first Constitution? I believe this is definitely unconstitutional, it's incorrect, and the government should not have any business doing this.
Hold on one second. And the First Amendment, I guess you want me to read it?
Yeah.
All right. First Amendment reads, well, hold on. I've got it here somewhere. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of people to peaceably assemble, and to petition the government of a redress of grievances. Now, I'm going to highlight a couple words out of this. It says, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. Okay, this isn't a church, so Congress really is okay right there. But then it says, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. Government can't say, no, you can't pray because of the First Amendment. They have the right to speech, they have the right to pray, but government says, no, that's not right. I don't know when we bowed down to the government, but I didn't do it. I can't help it that my state may have, or that California may have bowed to the government. I can't help that, alright? I'm not in California, I'm not the leader of California, I'm not the leader of West Virginia. But I can tell you this much. We didn't bow down to the government. We didn't ever make them the ruler of our lives. Last time I checked, we were the ruler of the government. We employed the government.
They work for us. We don't work for them.
And now all of a sudden, employees, the government, can now prohibit the employer from doing something? Is this a union? I didn't realize that was possible now. Let's see, there's more to the story. School employees should avoid looking like they're endorsing religion in any way.
But it's okay when it's okay when the government opens a funded school for Muslims.
Oh yeah, that's perfectly fine, Chris. It's the religion that they don't like.
Yeah, and it's okay when they when the government funds stuff like the homosexual Bible. I believe doesn't the government not support that?
I'm not sure about that.
I don't know. I'm going to have to look into that.
Here's this is Lynn, I don't have her name. What is it?